You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. The Cincinnati Bengals coming off a 31-17 preseason win, and Dave Lapham's with us. He was on the call in Washington, and Lap, the first thing you got to say is, hey, a preseason game, what do they really matter? But the Cincinnati Bengals, really the last time I remember a positive coming out of a preseason game was a tie, I believe, against the Falcons a couple years ago. And then I think the last win was all the way back to 2021, I believe, when they beat the Rams in preseason. So, yeah, it's good to have a win, but we got to see some things maybe we wanted to see. And what was your takeaway? We'll kind of go back a little bit. We weren't able to catch up right after the game. But talk about what you took away from preseason game number 2.
Well, Dave, the main thing is they got the win. A victory. That's what it's all about. You play to win the game. That rings true at any era. And the Bengals hadn't had a preseason victory in a couple of years. 0-3, 0-2-1. So the sweet nectar of getting a victory is something that everybody on the football team was glad to have. Zach Taylor emphasizes winning football games in the preseason because getting them those winning habits that can carry over to the regular season. That's what's going to have to happen in that opener against the Cleveland Browns. You're going to have to be playing at a high level, offensively, defensively, and special teams, and see if they can pull out a W to start the season and get off to a good start. That's been, an Achilles heel, obviously, the last few seasons is slow starts. I mean, turtle, snail type slow starts, and the Bengals can't afford to do that. Can't put yourself in a hole and expect to be able to climb out of a hole against NFL caliber teams, right away. It's gonna take a little bit of time, and you don't have that much time. It's not that long a season in the National Football League, so you got to come out of preseason with guns blazing, and that's what the Cincinnati Bengals are aiming to do.
Joe Burrow went 9-14 for 62 yards and a touchdown, and a lot of people were holding their breath when he went out for that third series, especially after being sacked, even though there was a penalty. I posted at the time on X during the game, this is what Joe likes. Having covered his career, high school, college, and now NFL, I think in his mindset, he wants this fast start. He knows if the Bengals get off to a fast start, we're going to make the freaking playoffs. And he wanted that, and he wanted to challenge. Now, he understood, Chase, go sit on the side. I need to get some work in with the guys in case one of you guys go down, and that's what he talked about in his presser after the game. I thought it was a smart move on his part, even though I understand the consequences. You take a risk every time you step on the field, but that can happen in practice as well.
Yeah, there's no question. And, Joe Burrow, I think the big thing, the big takeaway there is, like he said, you know what, I may be playing with some of these receivers. God forbid I have an injury in the early part of the season to one of my big weapons. What am I going to do then? I'm not going to pack it in. We're not going to do that. We're going to run our offense. We're going to do the things that we do well. And that's the reason that these players are going to make the football team. They're going to help us in that regard. So, I think it was a smart thing for Joe Burrow to do. He wanted to do it. He wanted to get reps, meaningful reps with players that he may be playing with, due to injury or other reasons, God forbid. And it's wise, he has to know what to expect from them when the bullets start flying for real. And he knows what to expect from Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Mike Gesicki and players of that caliber. He doesn't know what he's going to get from some of these other receivers that Tinsley and people like that he's just now starting to get a relationship and a rapport with.
You mentioned Mitchell Tinsley. You want to talk about a guy who kind of, hey, here's my case. If I'm not going to be on the Cincinnati Bengals, somebody is going to sign me. Big game, 5 catches, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns. And they were impressive catches, and the way he was able to work his body, that you got to feel that this guy has made his case to be on this roster when the cuts come.
Absolutely, Dave. And when you have Joe Burrow, your all-world quarterback, when asked, do you think Tinsley makes the team? He says, I hope so. I mean, not just, I think he's going to make the team. I hope he does. You know, I mean, I've got I've got dreams and aspirations here. You know, and this is the kind of player that can help me fulfill those. And so when you're a wide receiver, you have the endorsement and the backing of Joe Burrow when you're trying to make a football team. That's huge. And Tinsley, he earned it. You know, he went out there and played his tail off. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the guy made catches that are extraordinary. They'd be on the highlight tape, anybody's highlight tape. You know, he caught the back half of the football. He's very, very sure-handed. And then, you know, he runs really, really good routes. He can stop on a dime. He can change direction after stopping on that dime and then go in the opposite direction. So he's very sure-handed. He tucks the ball away and protects it when he's getting yards after catch. He's fundamentally sound. He's been coached really well, it looks like, and he's got the talents. He does. He's got a skill set that fits the National Football League, and that's saying something because, you know, to play in the NFL, you have to be at the top of everything that you need to do physically at the highest level possible to be a success in the National Football League. That's what Tinsley wants to get done.
You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. First Star Logistics is one of the fastest growing companies in Cincinnati. They're looking to expand their brokerage department by hiring individuals wanting a fast-paced career in the logistics industry. Visit firststarlogistics.com for details on how you could join the team at one of the top places to work in Cincinnati. Lap, when we sit there and, you know, a lot of talk, Dalton Risner visited the Bengals, left the building, no deal. They did not sign him. He's visiting other teams. And as we've talked about before, and we talked prior to doing this recording, you get to the point now where you're getting ready to go into the final week of preseason games. Then cuts are going to start taking place. There's a reason Dalton Risner is still sitting out there, not on a team. And that the other thing I look at is who gets cut. You may find a better player than Dalton Risner gets cut by somebody and looking for a chance to come to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's true, Dave. I mean, it's a competitive environment. It's the best players in the National Football League all trying to make it into that league. And, you know, there's only so many teams, only so many roster spots, only so many offensive line roster spots. So, you know, as teams are making those final cuts, there may be a guy out there that somebody decides to let go, that the team that let him go has plenty of depth at that position, say guard or center or interior line combined, where it was like he's a pretty high caliber player, but he got caught in a numbers game and he got let go. Well, hey, the Bengals need some help at the interior offensive line position, center and guard. And, you know, they're not as deep as the team that let this player go are at those positions. So the Bengals are like, hey, man, we can upgrade. You know, let's pick this kid up. Let's sign this guy. So, yeah, there's going to be some jockeying, some roster position jockeying, and going to be going on as you get ready to finish the preseason and get into the first regular season game in the National Football League. And, you know, Risner is going to be in that mix. I mean, he's still out there. So it's not going to be a slam dunk that he'll end up anywhere. You know, I mean, you have to see what kind of competition he's going to have at the guard position when the next few days wind down in training camp and players management and ownership make decisions on players like we're talking about. There may be a bunch of them out there, not a bunch, but a good number out there that you can choose from and make a good selection.
Lap, we talked about stacking positive results. Dylan Fairchild, I feel, did that in game 2. He was able to stack another game onto his resume that he belongs in the NFL. And Lucas Patrick, we talked about being a veteran, played a little bit better, acceptable, but then the injury, whatever the injury may be, how long he's out, that's yet to be determined. But Patrick turned it around, had a better performance. And you have to sit there and start saying, at some point in time, you want this offensive line to mold and gel as a group. And maybe going into the season opener against the Browns, these are the 5 guys that they've kind of gelled and got together as long as Patrick can go when the bell rings.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think as the clock keeps ticking and the days keep passing by, you want to have reps with a group of guys that you feel confident can go out and execute what you want to get done for that opening of the season. You want for that season opener. You want guys out there that are have been playing together for a few games, at least quarters, halves, or whatever in the preseason, and have started to gel. They know what to expect from each other. They know the strengths and weaknesses of each other. They know when when a teammate needs some help and when he doesn't. All these things are important. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But I do agree with you. I think Fairchild is a player, and Fairchild, he played at a high level, and he was an All-American at Georgia. I mean that's a hell of an accomplishment. Georgia plays a great brand of football in the SEC. They're amongst the best teams in the SEC year in and year out. It's a hell of a program. It's well established. It's put a lot of players into the National Football League, and offensive linemen are included in that group that have gone to the National Football League and performed well. And Fairchild, he's built for it. Man, the kid he's a big, thick, strong human being. I mean, he's got everything you need to have to be a success in the National Football League at the guard position. And not only is he physically talented enough, he's mentally able to handle things, and he can absorb a good bit of information, that he puts in the right compartments in his brain, and can recall and pull them out of there when need be. So I think that there's a very, very, very strong chance that he'll be lining up at the left guard position.
As exciting as the Bengals offense is, we have to say the defense, totally different story. Al Golden has to be pulling hair out with the way this Bengals defense starts games, the first two preseason games. And again, the Commanders come out and, boy, they're able to move the football. The thing that concerned me the most was the Daniels touchdown, when you had Jordan Battle had a clear shot that hit Daniels and with some physicality, and it just wasn't there. And that concerns me more than anything else.
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense obviously is the number one concern, Dave. There's no doubt about it. And the Commanders did what others have done to the Bengals in scrimmages and in preseason games. Big plays. They've got a propensity to give up the big play, and that's not something to be proud of. That's not something you want to be known for. I mean, there are huge gaping holes in the defensive front when the opposition is running the football. I mean, it's just what is going on? Is it like somebody's not fulfilling their responsibility in terms of gap control? Is somebody just trying to freelance and be a hero and make a play that really he's not designed for him to make, but he wants to try to be a little bit of a selfish football player and rack up some, oh wow, how about so and so? He probably made the team with that performance. No, what the coaches are looking for is 11 guys that will play their gap control responsibility and play it with the fundamentals and techniques that they're being taught, that everybody believes in organizationally, coaches and players alike, and protect their area on the football field and make sure that nobody abuses it. No offensive team comes out there and takes advantage of where they're supposed to defend and help the defense win football games. And right now, too many breakdowns. And I agree with you. I bet Al Golden is ripping his hair out by the root. He's got to be frustrated as all get out. And I know he's got much higher expectations from his defensive football team than they're performing with right now.
Lap, before we let you go, we got to talk about, this is the final week of basically training camp. We get ready for the upcoming preseason game, the final preseason game, as the Bengals will host the Indianapolis Colts at 1:00 on Saturday. What's the mindset of a player who, man, he feels he's right there? I'm about to make this team. That dream can be taken away in just a heartbeat.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It can be taken away by the heartbeat of a knock on the door, and it's the Reaper and he's getting you, and he's going to take you down and to the general manager, and you're gone, you're cut. And everything was going so well, and then all of a sudden it's not. That can happen. But and part of the reason that it happens is, like we're talking about, teams let players go. They're strong in a position group, and they let players go. And then a team that's out there that wants to scour the waiver wire for a position to improve a position where they're dramatically weaker, I mean, they'll jump on that player. I mean, that can happen. It's a competitive environment. It always has been, always will be in the National Football League. And then, of course, the other thing is you want to, escape injury. You don't want to have injury in the last preseason game. All of a sudden, the light, the flame in the candle gets put out, and you're on injured reserve, or you're maybe not on injured reserve, but you're out for an extended period of time, and that sets you back. And then all of a sudden, you got to start from square one when you come back, and get a bunch of reps under your belt and practice and see if you can earn your way back onto the football field and get some playing time. So yeah, you can never take anything for granted in the National Football League. That's one thing that you got to learn very, very quickly when you go to your first training camp. I know I did, and Paul Brown, his big thing was, don't think you know what you don't know, because you don't know. You don't know what we're thinking. You don't know what position coaches are thinking. You have no idea about any of it. Go out there and perform. You take care of your business. Let us take care of our business. And that's the key to success. That's the key to success in the National Football League. There's no doubt about it, Dave.
Lap, one of the things we don't know is, when will Trey Hendrickson be signed to that extension and get him off of street clothes and into a uniform and on the field? A lot of talk out there about trades. I think from everything everyone's saying, and Trey included, hey, we've agreed on money. It's just a matter of the final terms. And that can be sticky because you start getting the agents and lawyers and all that involved into it, and how things fit with a team, especially the way the NFL does it with guaranteed money, where you got to put that money in escrow. Some of the things people put out there with trades, I just don't see happening. One of them was the Raiders being a possibility of trading for Trey Hendrickson, and the person said, "Oh, the Bengals will be happy with a player and a third-round pick." As a fan, I would be totally upset if it's a player. Now, you give me Crosby, maybe, possibility.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I don't see the Raiders getting rid of Crosby, and I can't see the Bengals being willing to take a third-round pick and a player for Trey Hendrickson.
That's why it's so difficult to make trades in the National Football League. When's the last time you saw a trade of significant magnitude involving players that are well-established and still have years left in their NFL careers, swapping franchises? I mean, it's, and they're not going to trade Trey Hendrickson. You're right. I mean, it's terms and conditions. It's how much of a signing bonus are we talking about? What are we talking about in terms of deferred money? Those type of things. It's, incentive clauses based on quarterback sacks. I mean, he's 17 and a half sacks for 2 years straight. What led the league 1 year amongst the league leaders another? 35 total sacks in 2 years leads the NFL. That's unbelievable. I mean, that you have to account for that. You have to pay the man for that type of performance somehow. And that's probably, those are the kind of things that are being bandied about right now. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be to see how the final contract terms and conditions do unfold. But I would be stunned. It would be a total surprise to me. I mean, I'd be floored if they part with Trey Hendrickson. There's no way in my mind I can justify that. I think Bengal fans would go crazy. I think teammates would go crazy. 17 and a half sacks, led the league 1 year, was amongst the league leaders another. 35 total sacks in the last 2 years, is the league leader. You can't part with a guy like that. That's productivity in a statistic, in an area on the football field that you have to have a high level of performance. And he's given it to him. I mean, I don't think a team is going to be able to have a sweet enough trade offer to make the Cincinnati Bengals. I really don't. I mean, to me, it's ludicrous for people to think that Trey Hendrickson's going elsewhere. I think he's going to be a Cincinnati Bengal. I think he's going to finish his career as a Cincinnati Bengal, and I think that he's going to bring a lot of joy to Bengal fans watching him perform and showcase his talents for a lot of years in the National Football League.
The Cincinnati Bengals will open this season September 7th against the Cleveland Browns on the road. A lot of excitement will be going on over the next couple of weeks as the Bengals will put together their final roster to head into the regular season. Be sure to stay within the trenches with Dave Lapham. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share. Let more Bengals fans know what Lapham's been doing for over the last 5 seasons. And be sure to check out First Star Logistics, one of the fastest growing companies in Cincinnati. They are looking to expand their brokerage department by hiring individuals wanting a fast-paced career in the logistics industry. Visit firststarlogistics.com for details on how you could join the team at one of the top places to work in the Cincinnati area. Lap, as always, we appreciate the time. Hooday!
Hooday, Dave, and I'll tell you what, man, I appreciate your time. Everything you said about what we've done the last 5 years is very, very true. I think we've both committed ourselves to providing content that Cincinnati Bengal fans would really enjoy and look forward to getting on a regular basis to add to their repertoire of fan base knowledge. And you're a big reason for the success that we've had in doing that, Dave. Nobody works harder than you. You've got a work ethic that is extraordinary. You're a pro's pro in every sense in the word, and I feel proud about the what we put out there in the podcast world in terms of content. I think it stacks up with anybody, and you're a big reason for that, my man. You're getting it done, Dave Burke. You've always have, and you always will.
Appreciate those kind words, Lap. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you do the same, Dave.